Hi everyone, it's Ada here. I hope we're all doing good. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make a basic bodice for a baby ball dress. So let's get into this tutorial. First of all, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on the top of my pattern paper to indicate my shoulder line. Now that I have made that 1 inch point, I'm going to use my ruler to join all the points together. So on this line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement. For my shoulder measurement, I'm going to be dividing 8.5 by 2. So I'm going to be marking 4.25 as my shoulder measurement. Now on that line, I'm going to mark half an inch downwards. That is for my shoulder slope. And then from that half an inch point, I'm going to mark 3/3/4 as my armhole length. I'm going to use my ruler then to join those points together. After that, the next thing is to create my neck width. I'll be using 2.5 inches as my neck width. So I'm simply going to use my ruler to join that half an inch point I made for my shoulder slope to my neck width. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my neck depth, and I'll be using 2.5 inches as well for my neck depth. So I'm just going to use my curve to join the neck width to the neck depth. Now the next thing is to make sure that my chest line is visible. So my chest line is actually the same with my armhole measurement. So I'm just going to use a ruler to adjust that line and take it to the center fold in the middle. So then I'm going to mark my round chest measurement, and my round chest measurement is 5.5 inches. I am also going to mark my shoulder to waist measurement, or shoulder to half waist. Mine is 8 inches. Yours can be anything depending on the measurement of your child. So I used a straight line to indicate that waistline, and I'm simply going to mark my round waist measurement, which is the same as my round chest measurement, which is 5.5 inches as well. 5.25 inches, sorry. So I'm going to use a ruler to join those 2 points together, and the next thing is to create my armhole curve. To create my armhole curve, I simply found the midpoint of my armhole, and then at that midpoint I marked 1/4 of an inch to the left hand side, and then I simply use my curve to join that 1/4 of an inch point to my round chest point. I also went ahead to use my free hand to join the remaining part of the armhole to the shoulder point. After this, your bodice is basically done if you don't want to add a dart, but for a dart, I simply measured the child's bust to bust distance and divided that bust to bust distance by 2, and therefore I got 2.25 inches. So I measured that 2.25 inches, and then I marked 1/4 of an inch on both sides of that 2.25 inch. Then I used 3 inches as my dart length, or dart height. So simply what I did was to draw a straight line from my dart height to that 2.25 inches point, and then those 1/4 of an inch points also to that 3 inch point. So your dart should look something like this. The next thing is to add seam allowance. Always remember to add your dart after you've removed it. So I added 1/2 an inch for my dart, and then I went ahead to add 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. I also added 1.5 inch on the top part of my chest for my seam allowance. Then I went ahead to also add 1/2 an inch on other parts of my bodies as seam allowance. This is for joining. So after adding in all the seam allowance, the next thing is to cut. So I just went ahead to cut out the front panel for the bodice. And then we're going to go ahead and also make the back panel for this bodice. The back panel is actually really easier than the front panel if you ask me. For the back panel, we are simply going to trace out the front panel on the back. But then we are going to make a few adjustments. First of all, we are going to leave 1.5 inch on the left hand side for the zipper allowance, and then we're going to just place our front panel on that back panel from that 1.5 inch point. And then we're also going to make a little bit of adjustment to the armhole. Because the back armhole is less curved than the front armhole, we're going to be bringing out the back armhole by 1/4 inch. So I'm using my free hand to join that 1/4 inch curve to the shoulder line of this bodice. So the next thing is basically to cut out. We are just simply going to cut out based on the front panel. So for the neck, I'm going to be making a little bit of an adjustment to the neck. The back of the neck, the back neck is going to be deeper than the front neck for me. You can make your neck to be anyhow you want it. You can make it to be higher, you can make it to be lower, just anyhow you want it. So mine, I want mine to be a bit lower. So first of all, I'm just marking out the actual neck. Then from that point, I'm going to go down by 1 inch for my new neckline for the back. So I used my curve to join that new neckline to the shoulder width line. And then I used my scissors to cut out that little extra. And basically my back bodice is done. So we are going to cut through that zipper side because this was cut in a fold, but you're going to cut through it so that you have 2 separate panels for the back and then 1 panel for the front. So I also made my dart just like I made the front. Also take note of your zipper allowance while you're making the dart so that you don't make a mistake. So I made a dart just like in the front, and that's basically all for the bodies. As you can see, this is what the back and the front panel looks like. So because the ball dress I wanted to make with this pattern was going to have a sleeve, I decided to make a sleeve as well. So this sleeve we're going to be making is called a cap sleeve. So first of all, I'm going to measure the armhole length, which is 3 3/4, just like I did in the basic bodice. And then I'm going to measure my cap height for this sleeve. So I want my cap height to be 2 inches. But then I decided to mark 2.5 just to be, you know, safe. And then I'm going to join that my armhole length point to that my cap height point, and I'm just going to draw a an angle 90, just as you can see here. And then I'm also going to mark that cap height on the other side just to be very sure of what I am doing. So then I just simply drew a curve from that cap height point down all the way to the cap height point at the other opposite end, basically. So my sleeve is basically done, guys. This is just basically it. That's all, guys, for how to make the pattern, the basic bodice pattern and the sleeve pattern. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, comment, like, share, and I will see you guys in my next video.